Hey, somebody, won't you turn your head? Take a look my way. I'm getting old and I tell you,
Getting old ain't nothing new. It's like a game if you know. Me and my old pal Monday, when rain or shine, we'll be showing. Me and my old pal Monday, and another cup of coffee keep the juices flowing. Another cup of coffee keep the juices flowing. Another cup of coffee keep the juices flowing. That's 1, 2, 3, get go. Just like the sunset, all the way long day. Everybody don't know that song. We're flying all day long, all the live long. Just like the sunset, all the live long day. Just like the sunset, all the live long day. Just like the sunset, all the live long day. Just like the sunset, all the live long day. Everybody don't know that song. We're flying all day long, all the live long day.
I'm a dying breed. Yeah. Labor! Strictly muscle work. You pick it up, you put it down, you pick it up, you put it down. Typically in the morning, you wait out at the shanty until 7 o'clock and you start working your way up the ladder, climbing up the steel. Now every 2 floors you plank it off and you disconnect the bottom of the mast and you tie it to the bottom on the top of the choking cable. And you pick it up to the other side. I started working structural steel when I was 18 years old. I probably worked on towers 1,000 feet high. Most people are afraid of heights like that. So naturally, every ironworker has a bit of an ego. You're doing something nobody else can do. You get to wear a tool belt. When you're a kid, 18 years old, and you got the wrenches in like a holster, you're like a cowboy. Now, I always knew I was going to be an ironworker. My brothers were ironworkers, my father was an ironworker, so it was the natural course of events for me. My father was disappointed I didn't go to college. We had a college boy working this summer. He sees a book in my back pocket and he was amazed. He says to me, "You read?" Now that's what can get to you, the non-recognition of other people, to say a man is just a laborer, a woman is just a waitress. That bothers you. Now some mornings, I look across the skyline for a building that I worked on. Say, that building right there. You see that building? I helped build it. And I know some guy sitting in his corner office behind his $5,000 desk, and he's never going to think about me. But yeah, I think about him sometimes. Amanda, where's my P&L report?
It's on your desk.
Why is it not in my hand?
I'm a project manager. I'm here at 7:30 a.m. I leave at 8 p.m. In between my meetings, I answer messages and email and try to avoid my boss. You always have a boss. Sometimes you have an okay boss, and sometimes you have a Satan boss. He's not behind me, is he? I wish these walls were like a little higher. I've been in a lot of different cubicles. I've been in high wall cubes, I've been in half height cubes. Listen, the way things are these days, I'm glad to be in a cubicle at all. I have friends who would kill for this job, for any job.
I paper the walls of my cubicle with posters. I bring in fresh flowers, brought in my favorite ceramic lamp. This little collection of things on top of my computer I call them computer gods. I guess I have more decorations than I thought. But you know, in a cubicle, things like glow-in-the-dark skeletons go a long way.
Sharing a cubicle is like sharing a bathroom stall. It doesn't matter how tall the sides are or how big it is. You're in there with someone, and not in a sexy way. I can see the programmer in the cubicle next to me through the reflection in the window. Sometimes I can see her reflection and see what she's doing. And quite often she's emailing jokes to her sister. I also acquired a webcam. I set it up so it points behind me, and have a little window on my computer which is the webcam picture, and if somebody walks up behind me, I can see them.
I grew up expecting that I would get out of college and make $1 million. I grew up expecting that someone would drop a Mercedes at my front door. It's been quite a rude awakening. For the first time in 4 generations, I have it worse than my parents.
Jobs are not big enough for people. When you ask most people who they are, they define themselves by their jobs. I'm a doctor. I'm a carpenter. I'm a sportscaster. If someone asks me, I say, I'm Amanda McKinney. At certain points in time, I do things for a living. My mentality is totally different than the people who are 20 years older. The lifers. I have no real sense of loyalty because I know they have a business to run and they'll lay me off if it's prudent. I accept that. I don't perceive most people my age to think, I've got a job for life. What they really feel is, all right, I'm going to get as much money as I can from this company, then I'm going to move and get more money. This is the first job of many.
This is my first job. I smell like a burger. The register is easy. Hey, you want a burger? I hit the picture of a burger. Every day the same old thing. Hello, chicken nuggets, quarter pounder. Wait for that phone to ring, that phone to ring. The phone on the end of the counter. See the manager writing down an order. I see the manager making change. Then I see the manager writing an address. I whisper, yes, give me some change and send me on my way, okay? I'm off on a delivery and I'm buying my own delivery piece and I'm headed to parts unknown. Fresh air and exercise, and sometimes I throw in some extra fries. On it ain't today, my world is gray until they send me on a delivery. No things in my head. No one to watch me, I can wander anywhere. Food is getting cold, so I do as I am told. Responsibility, I have responsibilities. Father sits at home, he doesn't work anymore. And my mother works a double shift at the department store. And it's nice not having to ask for money. And it's nice not having to ask for dinner. And it's nice sometimes when you have to get away. I go to work every day, I'm putting money away. Hey, you know what they say, slow and steady. I'm making minimum wage, that's pretty good for my age. If I manage to save, I'll be ready to go wherever I gotta go. For now the restaurant feeds me and my family. change. Keep the change. Keep the change. Each bit by bit, I keep the change. Woo-hoo! But save a little every day. This God's gonna deliver me far away. And I look back on this and say, thank God for deliverance.
Fuck it, keep the change. I'm a guy who likes to work. Some people enjoy tennis. I enjoy work. I enjoy being the guy that everyone looks to. Now, in a world of money management is the sexiest position there is. You can ask any girl in the East Bank Club. Now, they did a study that found just looking at a Maserati made a girl produce twice the amount of hormones as normal. You can call me a shallow douchebag, a corporate tool, a frickin' robber baron. I take it as a compliment. I'm so fucking lootly. And that's what this country's about. The free market. It's not perfect, but it sure as hell would correct itself better than any regulator can if they just left it alone. Now, some people are going to lose money. People are going to lose jobs. That's just basic capitalism. I mean, who developed America? The regulators, the sect? Or was it the Rockefellers, the Mellons? I mean, tell me what they did that was so bad. The Rockefellers exploited some workers in the copper field. Maybe they shot a few of them. Okay, not perfect. But who benefited? How many theaters and national parks are here for us to enjoy thanks to the robber barons? These are the giants who built the cities, who built our country. Unless you have losers, you can't have winners. Hold on a second. Look, I'm gonna need to cut this short. I need to get back on the phone before the market closes overseas. Everybody works long hours. If a kid wants to make it, he's gotta be willing to work long hours. He's gotta be willing to know how to outsmart the regulators to make a profit. Christ, if you can't outsmart a little bit of government staff, you shouldn't show up to work in the morning. I mean, you should be their teacher. You know, I've always wanted to teach. That's what I want to do when I get tired of all of this. Pass along my knowledge, my experience, my values.
Good morning, Hernando. How are you? Good morning, Selena. I missed you. In your heart, you may have a dislike for a certain child, but you force yourself to say, "Good morning, Manuel. How are you doing?" Someone forgot to take his Ritalin this morning. My name is Rose Hoffman. I teach the 3rd grade. At 9:15, we start with arithmetic. I have tables fun on the board. Multiplication. No, you don't say tables. You say tables fun. Everything has to be fun, fun, fun. I tell my class, Mrs. Hoffman's here, everybody work. Working is a blessing. In the old days, I had 18 to 20 children who would stay at the beginning bell to the very end. Today, I have 37 in my class. The children come in, play on their cell phones, and leave for computer lab, art therapy. Oh yes, I have seen great changes since I began teaching in 1967. January 6, 1967. My students back then were Polish primarily. I loved the Polish people. They worked hard. My classroom was always a showcase. In the days we did it ourselves, with colorful pictures and charts on wall. A snowman in winter, a pumpkin in fall, and all my supplies were in neat little piles on the shelves. My children were always respectful. When the principal came, they would rise. If I had to leave for a minute or two, they always found something constructive to do, and everyone sat in their places according to size. The kids don't know how to behave anymore. Ask them to rise and they ask you, what for? We confiscate weapons and drugs at the door. No spitballs or comic books now. They want me to teach in a classroom like that, but nobody tells me how. Back in the day, we taught English. Not English as a second language. I'm shocked that English is the second language. When my parents came over, they didn't learn Jewish at the taxpayer's expense. We didn't have problems with discipline, with focus. Of course, in the days, we had the paddle. Oh, yes, I am a big believer in corporal punishment. It builds respect and trust. I made a big thing about spelling, but they learned by the time I got through. They copied the words till they knew them by heart. 10 times for the dumb ones, and twice for the smart. And gold stars are given to those who made sentences too. But why bother teaching them spelling today? Nobody knows how to read anyway. How can you spell what you can't even say? It's say habla español now. The way I've been teaching for 40 some years is no longer effective, or so it appears. Well, damn it, it worked for me then, so what's wrong with it now? They say I'm supposed to keep up with the times, but nobody ever tells me But there is one girl who stands out in my mind of all these years of teaching. My favorite. She wasn't the brightest, but she was never any trouble. I see her every once in a while. She doesn't give trouble today either. She has the same smile for everyone.
The first 2 months I started flying, I had already been to New York, London, and Paris, which is pretty huge when you're from Kankakee, Illinois. But after you start working for the airlines, it's actually not as glamorous as you thought it was going to be. Sometimes people just get nasty. I mean, they're harassed by security and then they get sent to us. And your shining personality only goes so far. We get scared sometimes too. I've never yet been so scared that I didn't want to get on the plane, but there have been times at takeoffs when there's been something funny. One time, I was working first class, and we had a load full of passengers, and the captain tells me we have to make an emergency landing in Chicago because we lost a pin out of the nose gear. When we land, the nose gear is going to collapse. So the captain tells me I need to prepare the cabin for this landing, but not for another 2 hours. And to not let the other flight attendants know because they're new and they would get all excited. So I had to keep this in me for 2 hours. And I'm wondering, am I gonna die today? And I'm serving drinks and food, and this guy gets mad at me because his omelet's too cold. What I wanted to say was, just you wait, sir. You're not gonna have to worry about that fucking omelet. When I told my parents that I was going into the airlines, they got so excited. My mother especially thought it was great that I had the ambition, the nerve to go out and accomplish something. Really, I just wanted to get out of Kankakee.
If you want a thrill, there's no comparison, not even to a jet plane, than to climbing on that silk truck and going out there on the Dan Ryan Expressway. The minute you climb onto that truck, you forget about the wife and kids, you just kiss goodbye, and the adrenaline starts pumping. Break number 9, big bad, put your ears on for me now. Big truck is gonna have a big line. So come on, brother trucker, you gotta come back another. Keep seeing double as I close one eye. I've got to roll, 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 brother trucker. Sure enough, ashamed of the shape I'm in. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back in my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Outward bound from South Bend. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back in my wheels again. I'm running out of whites. Goddamn dim those headlights. Boy, I was asleep on the last 2 nights. But I'm gonna be alright. I've got to roll, 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 brother trucker. I say where and you say where. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Back in my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Back it on up and do it again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Back in my wheels again. You're gone for a week, 2 weeks, picking up a load at one port, delivering it to another. You sit in that truck and your only companionship is your own thoughts. And you don't want to get stuck thinking about your problems at home, so you turn up the radio. And you hear it over the engine noise. Yeah, we fucking fantasize something tremendous. Think about the girl behind the voice. You make up something in your mind until you begin to believe it. Moon over New Jersey, big state police. I'm in a hurry. Won't you let me go in peace? I'm independent. I ain't got no teams to do. Cause the AFL and the CIO, they still don't own the road. And the only man telling me where to go is the man who owns the load. And he says, roll, 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 brother trucker. I say where and you say where. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. And do it again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back in my wheels again. Brother, I'm back in my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Back it on up and do it again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back in my wheels. Again. Going over to your wife can be sort of a letdown. She has to watch the kids, fight off the bill collectors, and she can't even count on her husband to go home for a graduation or communion. And when you do get home, you're so tired that you don't even want to go out on a Saturday night. pass within 4 blocks of my house in Evansville. Never go home. Easy to just keep on going. So you call your wife and tell her you won't be back. Hey, honey? Hello? Nappin Phone Company.
Verizon Tech Support, this is Johnny. How may I help you?
Yeah, I have like 5 bars and this number isn't working.
I'm sorry you're having trouble, sir. May I have the number you were calling?
Yeah, 219-756-5910.
I'm sorry, sir. All circuits in your area are busy.
What? Jesus, what is wrong with you people?
I'm sorry, sir. Why don't you wait 5 minutes, then place your call? Again. You'd think they'd be grateful to get a live person instead of a computer. Sometimes you really want to talk to them, if they sound upset. For me, it's a temptation to say, gee, what's the matter? But you can't say no more than, I'm sorry you're having trouble. If you get caught talking to a customer, that's 1 mark against you. 3 marks in your... One woman said to me, operator, I'm lonesome. Will you talk to me? I said, gee, I'm sorry, I just can't. But you can't. I'm a communications person and I can't communicate.
So, I always thought of a receptionist that has the loser at the front desk taking phone messages. Now I'm one. So of course I had to change my opinion. She had to be special, right? Because I'm so special. I was fine until we had this office party. I'd be having a fairly intelligent conversation with someone when they'd ask me what I did. When I'd say, I'm a receptionist, they'd make an excuse and walk away. So now I make up other names for what I do. Communications control, entry management.
It's strange,
I'm tired
but
at the end of the day.
you get
Tired
tired
of
of
talking.
talking. My mouth gets tired because you talk constantly for 6 hours straight
There's the
without a
10-minute break in
minute
the day
break.
that's quiet. You
You
can't
can't think about it.
What I do
Everyone
is
is in a
what I
hurry
have
to
to
talk
say,
to
I
somebody
say,
else, but not to talk to
switch
you.
the call to whoever it's
You're in a
going
room
to.
the size of
And
a
if you
gymnasium,
ask me to
surrounded
slow
by
down
people
when I'm
talking to
talking,
people thousands of miles away.
I never listen in on a phone conversation.
Do I listen in on conversation?
But let me tell you, some people
really
really
do.
do. I once heard that
Especially if
AT&T
you're working late
all
at
the
night.
girls used to listen in
Sometimes
on
people
phone.
on the line are so
I don't
absurd.
care
You'll
who
sit
you
there
are,
and
if
laugh
you're
until
nice,
there's tears rolling
you're
down your
quiet,
face.
you're going to listen in on phone conversations.
It makes the nights go faster.
Sometimes, to make the day go faster, I do drawings, monitoring sort of things. Never people. I pretend I'm alone and things are quiet. I call it the land of no phones. I
Never answer the phone at home.
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. No, thank you. My husband gets the paper at the office and I read it online. No, I don't have an office. I don't work. I work. Of course I work. It's just, I don't have a job. Anyway, thanks for the offer. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I guess on my Mother's Day they would have called me a housewife. That's funny. You don't see me sitting around watching soap operas all day. I have a lot of work to do. But you just want something more exciting to talk about at a dinner party, you know? You know, something that matters. What I do only matters to 3 people. All I am is just a housewife. Nothing special, nothing great. What I do is kind of boring. If you'd rather, it can wait. All I am is someone's mother. All I am is someone's wife. All of which seems unimpressive. All it is just my love. Do the laundry, wash the dishes, take the dog out, clean the house. What I feel is out of date. All I am is someone's mother. Right away I'm not too bright. What I do is unfulfilling. So the TV talk shows tell me every night. I don't mean to complain at all, but they make you feel like you're 2 feet tall when you're just a wife. All they see are the pots and pans and the Pepsi cans of a person's life. You're a whiz if you go to work, but you're just a jerk if you say you won't. People say that they think it's fine if the choice is mine, but you know they don't. What I choose to do may be dumb to you, but it's not to me. Is it dumb that they need me there? Is it dumb to care? 'Cause I do, you see. And I mean, did you ever think, really stop and think what a job it was? Doing all the things that a housewife I'm afraid it's unimpressive. All I am is someone's mother. Nothing special. What I do is unexciting. Take the kids here, take the kids there. I don't mean to complain at all. Busy, busy. Like my mother. Just a housewife.
UPS!
You don't just jump behind someone and scream.
Sorry, ma'am.
It's all right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. You have to make excitement for yourself, you know? I've been bit once already. By a Doberman? That's the biggest part of the dog's day, when the UPS guy comes. So when nobody's looking, you kick him down the street. Even if he just follows you, you get him for one you missed a couple houses back. Yeah. That's the biggest subject of conversation with us. Dogs. And women. See a nice looking babe that kind of brightens your day? We have a code we put in the system. We put a Q. Stands for cutie. See a nice little honey laying out in her backyard in a 2-piece bathing suit? She'll be laying there with the top strap undone. And if you go there and you scare her good enough, she'll jump up. Something to do. It adds excitement to the day. UPS!
I didn't want to become a housewife like my mother and my sisters. Somehow I knew I wanted more out of life. I was 15. I was sitting in this coffee shop when a friend came by and said, "Yo, hurry up, I got a cab waiting. You can make $500 in 20 minutes. We went up to this penthouse. The guy up there was quite well known. He wanted to watch 2 women do it, and then he wanted to have sex with me. It was barely sex. I mean, he was almost finished by the time we started. It was a tremendous kick. I mean, there I was, doing nothing, feeling nothing, and in 20 minutes I was gonna walk out of there with $500 in my pocket. I mean, just out of curiosity, how many people you know make $500 in 20 minutes work? And I was still in high school.
I consider myself an upper-class working girl. The press calls me a socialite, which is just another name for a well-dressed fundraiser. To me, fundraising is like candy. You get to talk with fascinating people and promote causes you love. What could be more delicious than that? I began in the 80s. I gave a party in Washington, D.C. for Nicaraguan refugee children. It wasn't for the Contras, although I'm sure that would have been fun too. But fundraising is work. It's hard to separate people from their money. There is finesse in approaching a potential donor. I never bring up money when I first meet someone. It's not like it's a secret. I mean, they know why I'm there. But sometimes I like to see how long I can go before I ask for a gift. Call me a tease.
It's a marketplace transaction. Somehow I managed to absorb that when I was quite young. I was a precocious child. Actually, I was sort of lonely. I didn't experience myself as being attractive. I was no Calvin Klein ad, but I was bright, and I didn't play by the rules. Guys was mostly scared of me. They didn't want to get involved emotionally, but they did want to fuck. For a while, I was willing to accept that. It was feeling intimacy, feeling warm, feeling.
The other day I was riding around New York in a limousine during a hotel strike, and there was nowhere to go, and I thought, now I know what it feels like to be a bag lady. And you can't just go around picking up every homeless person you see and bring them home with you. But you can help by saying something entertaining. It brings a light to their eyes. Maybe that's what the term socialite means.
You become your job. I've become a hustler. Even when I'm not hustling, I'm a hustler. What you do is what you are. I don't think it's so terribly different from someone who works on an assembly line 40 hours a week and comes home cut off numb. People aren't built to switch on and off like water faucets.
I work at a luggage factory. I make suitcases. The tank I work at is 6 foot deep, 8 foot square. In 40 seconds, you have to take the wet felt out of the felter, put a blanket on to dry out the excess moisture. Wait 2-3 seconds. Take the blanket off. Take the wet felt and balance it on your shoulder. Reach over, grab the hose. Spray the inside of the copper screen. Turn around and walk to the hot dry dye behind you. Take the hot piece off and set it on the floor. Put the wet felt on the dry dye. Press this button. Inspect the piece you just took off. Stack it, count it, 40 seconds.
Stack it, count it, 40 seconds.
In the summertime, the temperature in our workstation ranges from 100 to 150 degrees. I've checked thermometers and tested it out. I have arthritis in the joints of my fingers, naturally my shoulder from balancing this wet piece. The hose sometimes sprays back on you, so it just will spray it. And then the hydraulic presses sometimes leak, so you're slipping on oil. You have the possibility of being burnt every time that wet felt touches that dry dye. You're just engulfed in a cloud of steam every 40 seconds. The tank runs 24 hours a day. I work 8 straight hours with 2 10-minute breaks and a 20-minute break for lunch. I find it difficult to finish my lunch in that length of time. 40 seconds. Granddad was a sailor, and he blew it off the work most often is a goddamn awful boring job, and I'm waiting for a daydream to take me through the morning so I can have my coffee break and I can have my sandwich and remember it's me and my machine for the rest of the morning, for the rest of the afternoon, and the rest of my life. They can't keep men on the tanks. They say it's too monotonous. I think women adjust to monotony better than men do because women are used to doing two things at once, where a man can only think of one thing at a time. A woman can listen to a child while she's doing something else. It's the same way on the tanks. You're automatic in what you're doing, or your mind is doing something else. My mind begins to wander. Days back on the farm, and I can see my father smiling at me, swinging on his arm, and I can hear my granddad stories on the storms out on Lake Erie, vessels and cargoes, fortunes and sailors' lives were lost. As my life has been wasted, and I have been a fool to let this manufacturer use my body for a tool. I get to ride home in the evenings, staring at my hands, swearing by my sorrow that a young girl ought to stand a better chance. May I work this mill just as long as I am able, and never meet the man whose name is on the label. It's me and my machine for the rest of the morning, the rest of the afternoon gone, and the rest of my life. You wish you didn't have to work in a factory, but when that's all you know how to do, that's what you do.
An organizer is someone who brings in new members. You try to build an organization that would give people the power to make changes. I built a fairly well organization of rural people from Pike County to stop Bethlehem Steel from strip mining. I had to tell people again and again that they had the stuff to do the job and that it's possible to win. You see, most people in their guts don't really believe it. But nobody believed that we could stop Bethlehem Steel. You see, all the people in Pike County really wanted was a park, just a place for their kids. In Bethlehem, Bethlehem said, "Go to hell, we're not going to give you a damn thing." So I got 20, 30 people together I saw as leaders, and I said, "Let's get this park." And they said, "We can't." And I said, "Yes, we can." So we got enough people together, we wrote letters, we protested until we finally got on TV. And Bethlehem caved. A couple months later, 4,000 people drove up from all around Pike County to see the bulldozers grazing down the land for that park. You see, people become convinced there's not a damn thing they can do. But I think we have it in all of us to change things. I mean, all of human recorded history is like what, 5,000 years old? And how many people in that time have made an overwhelming difference? 20? 30? You see, the problem with history is that it's written by a bunch of college professors about great men. But that's not what history is. History is a whole lot of little people, men and women just like you and me, getting together and deciding that they want a better life.
If I could have been what I could have been, I could have been something.
I wanted to be a writer.
Major League Baseball player.
Own a little farm.
If what I could be had been left to me, I would have been something. But then I got married.
And then the kids came along.
And my dad took sick.
A tower of strength, center of power, at $10 an hour.
gonna change my plans. You never know what you would have did.
I could have done what I could have done. I could have done big things.
Paid all my bills.
Now they're just dreams that I'm stuck with. That hell, that ain't a lot to show.
I haven't got far from the starting line, but deep down inside where it counts, I know that if I could have gone, but I could have gone. I could have gone far away.
As far as I could go, I could have gone places.
Gone far away.
The top of the tier, above every wrong thing.
I could have.
Way back then, I had ambition.
Way back
A lot of stamina and guts.
Oh, way
I
back
never took no for an answer. It was tougher to fight all those ifs and or buts. Those ifs and or buts.
But if I think I could have been what I could have been, something special with it's not just a something if they had just let me go. When I was ready to go, if they had just let me go, God only knows, God only knows.
What I could have.
I could have been something.
I could have been someone. I could have been someone. But I could have been someone special.
Could have been someone.
The last hour is the hardest. You sit there with half a mind and one eye on the clock.
All I'm thinking about now is getting home and taking off my uniform.
A cold can of beer. Putting your feet up in front of the idiot box.
When that whistle blows, a lot of guys want to sit around and talk. I just want to get out of here.
It's a pretty good day laying stone. You get interested in what you're doing, you usually fight the clock the other way. You're not looking for quitting. You're wondering you haven't even gotten enough done and it's almost quitting time. There's not a house in this country I haven't built that I don't look at every time I go by. And if one stone crooked, I still notice it. The people what lives there might not notice it, but I notice it. Stone's my business. Stone's my life.
He builds a house with his hands. 30 years go by, it stands where nothing stood. A house of stone, the mason sleeps real good. He does his workday flies. Quitting time's a big surprise, and then it's one more stone to get just right. There's always one more stone before the night. Every house he builds, every stone he lays, it's not about making money or counting off the days.
I daydream all the time about stone. One day, I'm gonna build me a stone cabin down on the Green River. Stone cabinets in the kitchen. Everything's stone. Stone front door, that's gonna be very heavy. All my dreams seems like got like a piece of rock mixed up in them.
He builds a house with his hands. 100 years go by, it stands. It tells you who he was. A life goes fast, but the work a mason does, it's made to last. The work a mason does.
There's nothing on this earth gonna last forever.
It's
But with stone, you get it pretty close.
to last.
I can't relax. When you ask a guy who's 58 years old, what does a press agent do? You force me to look back and see what a cocktail life I've had. My hopes, my aspirations, what I did with them. What being a press agent does to you. What have I wound up with? Rooms full of clippings and a case of colitis. But you know what I think my main problem is? The inability to say no. The instance of being a part of everything. The fear you're going to miss out on something. One psychiatrist told me that one guy with one ass can't ride two horses. Being a publicity man is a confession of weakness. It's for those who don't have the guts to get attention for themselves. You spend your whole life talking about how great somebody else is. In this work, you don't build anything. If I had a little mom and pop candy store and I built it into a bigger one, I might have sold it for $1 million. Who do I sell my clippings to?
Good evening, milords. What's exciting at the bar that I can offer? It would be very boring if I had to say, would you like a cocktail? Over and over. So I come out different for my own enjoyment. What's exciting at the bar that I can offer, milord, or something? Maybe with cocktails, I give them a little philosophy. They have coffee, I give them political science. I have an opinion on every single subject there is. My bosses don't like it, so I have to speak sotto voce. But if I get heated, I don't give a damn. I speak like an Italian speaks. I have to be a waitress. How else does the world come to me? Everyone wants to eat. Everyone has hunger, and so I serve them. I give service. I can't be servile. There is a difference. I get intoxicated with giving service. It becomes theatrical, and I feel like Madahara, and it intoxicates me. I'm on stage.
Their summers don't care when they put. There's a sound, not with me. When they move a chair, it'll scrape with a grate on the ground, not with me. I will have my hand right when I place a glass. Notice how I stand right as customers pass. Serve a demi-tasse with a gesture so gentle, or do it again till it's near exponential. La 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 la. It's an art to be a fine waitress. See that you pleasure each guest. There's a twist to my wrist when I bring your steak in, and watch how I take in your liver and bacon. It all needs to be stylish and smart. That's what makes it an art. There among the roaches, my axe at an end. Every night I tend to find myself crying. There's no work so trying or so satisfying. I tell everyone that I'm a waitress and I'm proud. You know what I say when someone says to me, "Hey, you're terrific. How come you're just a waitress?" You know what I say to them? I say this. I say, "Why? Don't you think you deserve to be served by me? It's an art. It's an art to be a great waitress. Each evening I treasure the test." So I zoom that no one else has, I swear. No one else has my lilt. When I say a la carte, you see it gives me a close. Every time I prove I'm a pro. Maybe I'm not quite Michelangelo, but I'm not just a waitress. I'm a one-woman show.
After 16 years here, I took a trip to Hawaii for 2 weeks. Went with my lover. My eldest daughter said, "Act your age." I said, "Honey, if I were acting my age, I wouldn't be walking. Not after 16 years on this job."
I worked for them 16 years, and overnight they let half of us go. It's now known as Black Thursday. They told us to clear out. Leave. That's all. No goodbyes. One man broke down and cried right there. What did I do wrong? I've done a great job. Please don't do this to me. My daughter's getting married next month. How am I going to face people? All of a sudden, nobody calls. You go out and start visiting friends, but they're all busy with their own work. They don't have time for you. This is a psychological. I don't want to get into it.
It was a year ago, November, and I'm still looking. But you just have to fight your own way, which I've done my whole life.
Don't get me wrong. In this economy, I'm lucky to have any work at all. But after so many years, I just wish I knew how it felt not to have to go to work.
When I retired, first 2 years I was downhearted. I had no place to go, nothing to do. And I gave myself a good going over Joe. I says, you can't sit at home and waste your time. You gotta get out and do things. Well, the day goes pretty fast for me now. I don't daydream at all. I just think of something and I forget it. That daydreaming, it don't do you no good. Keep busy, keep moving. That's the trick. You wake at 10. Fold up the bed. You don't want to leave your couch open all day, you know. It's depressing. You cook an egg. You toast some bread. You cook for yourself. You save a bundle. If you don't keep track of your money, who will? You think about the day ahead. You don't go feeling sorry for yourself. It's like I said, you can sit at home and be mad at the world, or you can get out and do things. You take a walk,
This one guy lives down by the National Biscuit. Boy, you should see the nice aroma. You shoot the bull, you argue some, and maybe he calls up a couple of other fellas to come and play some poker. You lose at gin until they come. This guy remembers what cards you picked up. The dirty bum. But even getting beat at gin beats doing nothing. You take a bus, you take a train, you go visit your wife's grave, and on the way you read the Reader's Digest. It does you good to use your brain, or maybe you go out and you see your cousin, you bring a six-pack along. You take a stroll down memory lane. When we were younger, we were always together. And raising Cain, we go way back, him and me, oh, the time we had. I remember once, back in '62, we were at this fair with these girls we knew, on this crazy ride, where you screamed or you prayed. The big dipper they called it. We could hardly walk as we left the car, so we staggered down for a candy bar, and we sat and laughed in the penny arcade. At 6 o'clock, you watch the news. Them politicians get you so mad you throw your slippers at the set. You cook some franks, no big to-dos. Most nights you lay around, you straighten up, maybe you call your daughter. You watch a game, you take a snooze, but then there's Sunday. Sunday's different. You change your shirt and shine your shoes, 'cause you're going around the block to the tavern. You shoot some pool, you drink some beer. You don't have to drink a lot to have a good time, maybe 3 or 4 in the evening. You find a pal, you bend his ear, you meet a lot of the old crowd there on Sunday. Sometimes a bunch of you sing the kind of song you never hear, like Stardust or In the Mood, and then you cheer. Last Sunday night we sang Till We Meet Again. Believe it or not, I once did a waltz to that tune, honest to God. It was at a dance, I was 17, and the girl was like from a magazine, and the lights were low, and I really mean low. I think a couple of my friends had something to do with that. And I kissed her cheek, and we waltzed away. I remember like it was yesterday. Boy, was she surprised. I could hear her say, Joe. They drive you home from round the block. You take your cash out of your sock. You fix the bed, you check the lock. You wind the clock. When I retired, first 2 years, a lot of people told me, Joe, you got your health, you shouldn't have done it. But it was too late. I don't know why I retired. Just a habit, I guess. And I got no regrets. I keep busy, keep traveling. I go to fires every once in a while. That fire we had on Milwaukee Avenue about 3 months ago, I was there. Boy, that was some fire.
You go in there, and it's dark. Smoke's coming out of the goddamn building. Everything happens really fast. I feel this tremendous heat to my left. I turn, and the whole fucking room is orange. Yellow. You could see the orange and feel the heat. The lieutenant and 2 other firemen put up a ladder, so they saved 2 people. But downstairs, there was a guy who's trying to get out the door. They had bolts on the door. He was burnt dead. Know what the lead man said? Oh, lost someone. Shit, we lost someone. You saved 2 people. How are you supposed to know that there was a guy sleeping on the pool table? Yeah, but we lost a guy. I always wanted to be a fireman. A lot of guys want to be a fireman. It's like kids. Everybody's still a kid. Guy's 40-something years old and feels like a kid inside, except he's starting to lose his hair and not screw so much. I used to be a cop. You know why I switched to fireman? I liked people. And sometimes, while I was a cop, I would feel the hate come into me. I remember this one time, I worked on the roof of this project. There was this big black guy, about 6'7", at the top of the stairs. He had his back to me. I said, "Hey fella, turn around." He said, "Yeah, wait a minute." He had his elbow moving around his belt. Turn around a minute. It dawned on me that he had a gun caught in his belt and he was trying to get it out. I said, "Holy shit." So I took out my gun and I said, "You fucker, I'm gonna shoot!" He had his hands up against the wall. He had his dick hanging out and he was trying to zip up his fly. And there was a girl in the corner, which I couldn't see. So there's this guy getting a hand job where there might have been a lot of guys who would have killed him. I said, "Holy shit, I could have killed you." The guy started shaking and the gun in my hand started shaking like a bastard. So I said, "Just get the hell out of here." So I took the department test in 98 and got called in 99. You know, the fucking world is fucked up. The country is fucked up. But the firemen, you see them produce. You see them put out a fire. You see them come out with babies in their hands. You see them give mouth to mouth when a guy is dying. You can't get around that shit. That's real. I worked in a bank once, you know. It's just paper and you're looking at numbers. It's not real. But I can look back on my life and say, I put out a fire. I saved somebody. Someone can be born. Someone can grow old because of me. It shows what I did on this earth.
He had a very good day today. We went down to the senior center, just a mile away. Some days he only wants to stay at home, but on Tuesdays they play music and they dance. You should have seen him dance. They were playing Spanish music. He's a ham, he likes to make the nurses smile. Some days he can't remember who I am, but today he was lucid for a little while. And through it all, I take his pulse, I change his clothes. Where are his children? Heaven knows. It doesn't pay much, but I get through, because I do the work that no one else will do.
She had a very good day today. We went to a nearby park where she likes to play. She's only 5, but she can do it all. And today we took her scooter for a ride. You should have seen her glide, and I was terrified. I spent the afternoon just running by her side. The sun came down and then I brought her home. Her parents worked late. I took her in each night, and I sing, mahal kita, minamahal kita, mahal na mahal kita, till she's asleep. She says I love you, and I love her too. Well, I do all the work her mother doesn't do.
I have a family of my
I have a
own.
daughter back at home.
I send whatever I can
I'm
spend.
singing her to sleep.
And sometimes I close my eyes and imagine I am there.
Mahal kita,
Duérmete.
minamahal kita.
Hasta la madrugada, duérmete.
Mahal
We had a very good day today.
kita.
We went down to the senior center, just a mile away. Someday my dreams are gonna all come true. For now I do what no one wants to do. For now I do what no one wants to do.
You know what I always wanted to do? I wanted to play the piano. That's what I really wanted. And I'd write songs and things about my life growing up in the South and my mama and grandmama. Now I've got my own beautiful daughter and I've got plans for her. So I leave my house every morning and go scrub rooms up at the Marriott. And at night, I come here to this office and is scrubbing again. For generations, that's all we done, scrubbing. My mama, my grandmama, and me. But my daughter, she ain't gonna do no domestic work. I aim to be the end of that particular line. Mama worked just like her mama before her. Domestic working was their trade. They was laundress, cook, and living help, thirsty girl, babysitter, and the hotel maid. They worked 6 days a week, all day long, and never could get out of debt. Those were the days when the minimum wage was anything you could get. They was cleaning women without faces, coming and going on a first name basis. You're talking to somebody who knows. And after too many years, oh, I don't wanna be in one more laundry room. I don't wanna pick up near another room one of these days. Just wanna sleep till noon. All day long I'm thinking my kids out in the streets somewhere. But these folks up in their rooms don't think you're thinking half the time. Always talking around you like you ain't even there. It's their so it does something to my got a daughter with her head on her shoulders, the prettiest a picture too. She ain't gonna hide that pretty face behind those scruffy paws like her mama do. If my legs don't give out and my back holds out, I'm gonna make her a better day. You'll never see her getting down on her knees unless she's down there to pray. No more cleaning women without faces. She's gonna walk in on this last name basis. She'll be the first in this family to have a face you can see. Oh, she ain't gonna be stuck in no laundry room. When she's sweeping, she'll be pushing her own broom. The day may never come when she can slip to noon, but as long as she can get up singing her own tune on that day, for me that day can't come too soon. Can't come too soon. That day can't come too soon.
My name is Ralph Werner. I'm 19 years old. I ran this mutual fund for the students in my school. My father runs his own investment firm. I guess that's where I learned. He runs a hedge fund. You know, those are the guys who are always getting caught defrauding their investors. We studied ethics at school, so I'm sure I won't have any problem. I'll be going to business school. Kellogg, naturally. Now, what I'd really like to be is a professional golfer. But realistically, I'll probably be an entrepreneur. And then I'll start a family, of course. My quote dream girl, unquote, has long brunette hair and doesn't have to wear a lot of makeup because she's going to be naturally pretty. I want her to have a lot of personality because when I'm 30 and we're moving up the ladder, there's going to have to be a lot more than just looks. At first, she'll probably be working, but after our first child, she'll stay home. And she'll be a good one. I hope to have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. I'd like a colonial house, possibly one that leans more towards the Mediterranean style. Maybe it could even be backing right on a golf course, so me and my wife can play golf whenever we want. I hope my wife can play golf.
My name is Charlie. I'll be 20 in 3 weeks. So I got recommended for this job down in a newsroom in a Chicago paper. I went down to the paper and talked to the editor, told him how much I wanted to be a journalist. He liked me. I had a tie on. Coming to work for me was a kind of missionary kind of thing. I was bringing organic walnuts and organic raisins and just giving them away to everybody. See, at this stage of the game, I was in a very spiritualistic sort of mood. I was enjoying my job because I was answering phones most of the time. People would call up and have a problem or complain, and I tell them, this is a capitalist newspaper. And as long as it's a capitalist newspaper, it's not going to serve you because its purpose is to make money for its owner. And I tell them to call up the editor or come down and take over the paper. And a lot of people responded really well to these suggestions. But the editor, he called me into his office and he's like, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to take a baseball bat and smash his head in. I mean, he's a really nice person. I like him a lot. I don't know if I'd get any pleasure from shooting him up with a 50 caliber machine gun and seeing his body splattered to pieces. But my fantasy all spring at the paper was getting a gun and shooting him. Or getting a gun, walking into the editor's office and saying, okay, how do you face your death? I've been thinking for months, what will I do when I get fired? I had to think of something to show him. I'm better than you motherfuckers. I'm getting fired because I'm different. And I had to think fast, so I turned to the editor and I said, I hope you can live with the conditions you're creating. And then I just turned and I walked out and I started to cry. And the editor, he hurries after me and he says, wait a minute. I'm not creating these conditions. You are. I said, no, I'm not the one who has the power. You're the one who has the power. Now I got myself on unemployment. They were nice to me the first couple of times. And then this woman told me to get a number. I wanted to tell her, fuck you. I can wait outside your apartment, knock you over the head, and steal your money. But that's bitterness. I don't like being bitter. I'm a pacifist.
Heard a lot of songs say, where are you going, my son? Now I know they're true. Boy, you never stop to think how fast the years run and all the things they steal. I remember you was 3.5. Your mom and me, we'd sit there after things got quieted. We'd laugh at some new word you said, how tough you were to get to bed, and we planned the night away, planning for our kid. I was your hero then. I couldn't do no wrong as far as you were concerned. You thought I was the best of men. The tables hadn't turned. You hadn't learned how little time it takes. And daddies make mistakes. Seems to me that lately I've been thinking a lot. I think about my dad. Lots of funny things come back, thought I forgot. Now they make me sad. High school like it used to be. I didn't want him touching me, and I shuddered if he did. Further back to summer nights, baseball games beneath the lights, and sleeping in the car. Daddy and his kid. He was my hero then. He couldn't do no wrong as far as I was concerned. I thought he was the wisest and the strongest and the best of men. The tables hadn't turned. I hadn't learned how little time it takes. And everybody breaks. Daddies make mistakes. Now this may sound square, but my kid is my imprint. You know what I mean? I mean, that's why I work. When I see a smart kid walking by dressed real sharp, I'm looking at my kid. Now, I want my kid to look at me and I want him to say, Dad, you're a nice guy, but you're a fucking dummy. Hell yeah. If you can't improve yourself, you improve your posterity. Otherwise, life ain't worth nothing. You might as well go back to the cave where you started. Now, I'm sure the first caveman who went out of the cave to see what was on the other side of the hill? I don't think he did so wholly out of curiosity. He went there because he wanted to get his son out of the cave. I heard a lot of songs say, "Where you going, my son?" Now I know they're for real. Boy, you never stop to think how fast these run, or the things they steal. Now it seems I always knew why I do the things I do and the things I never did. I do the things I do. It's why I work my whole damn life, so as I can give a better life than the one my dad would give me. I give it to my kid.
You think about a piece of work. Let's say Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. This beautiful work of art, but what if he had to create the Sistine Chapel 1,000 times a year? Don't you think that would even dull Michelangelo's mind?
See, it's not just the work. Somebody built the pyramids.
The pyramids, the Sears Tower, these things don't just happen.
I don't care how little you did. You drive down a road and you say, I worked on this road.
If there's a bridge, you say, I worked on this bridge.
I think that if a carpenter built a cabin for poets, then the poets owe the carpenter a little plaque. Just 3 or 4 lines on the wall.
Though we labor with our minds, this place we could relax in was built by somebody who works with their hands.
Picasso can point to a painting.
A writer can point to a book.
What can I point to?
Everybody should have something to point to.
You know what I'd like? I would like to see a building, say the Sears Tower. I would like to see on one side of it a foot-wide strip, top to bottom, with the names of every person who's worked in or on that building. All the names. So when a guy walked by, he could take his son and say, "See that building?"
I was the one who drafted the plans, every detail and every line. See that building?
I was the guy that lifted the crane. I was the one who worked up above.
Look at those bricks are mine. Every detail and every line. See that building? Knock on my door, hands in the frame. See that building?
40 flights up, I scratched my name.
See that building?
I'm on the staff, I work as a guard.
I'm in the pros and I leave 'em good. People don't know my job is hard. See that building? 5 days a week I work at a desk.
I do the books.
I handle the mail.
9 on the dot, I punch my cards.
See that window?
10 from the top,
See that window?
4 from the left. 2,
3, stop! That's where I work. Everyone should have something to point to, something to be proud of.
Look what I did, see what I've done.
I did the job.
I was the one.
Everyone should have something to point to, something to be tall and proud. Proud. See that building, day after day after day after day. That's what I do.